Check, because StreamYard was StreamYarding a while ago, y'all. I could not get in here a while ago. Good morning, everybody. Wagwan, wagwan. You are tuned into How I See It TV, and this is Accurate Context. Please remember to like this video, share the link to my channel if you feel like the content needs some more crowd. Subscribe if you have not done so as yet. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, now called X, at How I See It, and on TikTok at How I See It TV. I'm trying to blast through this live, y'all, because Glam goes live at 9 o'clock, and I want to be in there for subscriber feud. Thank you all for letting me know that you are hearing me loud and clear. Pisces Life was first in the yard. Hi, Miss Yvette Bell, my YouTube auntie, Miss Linda Gamble, Ines Martin, good morning. How are you there? Kathy, good morning. IPV, Tay Tay. And that's where it ends. Thank y'all for being in the yard on this Saturday morning. Thanks to everybody that is listening in the bushes while you're driving, while you're working, taking care of the kids, taking care of home. I appreciate you all being here and being tuned in. So the reason why we're here is because I saw a clip of a scene from tonight's upcoming episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and I was confused by the clip, honestly. I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but I'm going to play a snippet of the clip. And I know playing own networks clips is gonna have my video being limited in terms of monetization. I'm gonna see a red dollar sign or a yellow dollar sign. So if y'all want to support the channel, my Cash App is right there on the screen. Dollar sign how the letter Y. See it. I appreciate that. I would appreciate that because I gotta play these clips just so that I can show y'all the proof of something so that we can debunk some lies being told or just show why things just don't make any kind of sense. Now, before I get into it, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all how I see it. I feel like Nell Fletcher not only fell into production's trap and Martell's trap, but she allowed herself to fall into alignment with the narrative that they wanted for this season. And the narrative that they wanted for this season, in my opinion, is that Melody's fans are a problem and that Melody is a problem. That is the narrative. The narrative is Melody is the problem on the cast, is the problem on the cast. They used, in my opinion, Stormy to do it. Because let's be clear, Stormy's incident with that fan happened last year. A whole season was filmed and a reunion was done last year. And the issue with that fan that Stormy had never came up. But conveniently, as soon as production for this season started, Stormy went and claimed that she turned herself in and got quote unquote arrested so that they could validate they could validate the narrative that, oh, Melody needs to check her fans, right? Then Destiny came back to help push that agenda, in my opinion, and that didn't work. So now who's left? Melody's longtime friend and mentor, Miss Nell Fletcher. Because if Miss Nell Fletcher says Melody can't be held accountable. If Nell Fletcher says Melody's fans are a problem, if Nell Fletcher says Melody's a problem, and she's known Melody longer than anybody else on the cast, and she's Melody's supposed to be Melody's mentor, then maybe, maybe this agenda that we have to isolate Melody and to make her the problem and to make her the reason why the cast can't get along and all this stuff, maybe it will work. But all y'all have done, in my opinion, Love and Marriage Huntsville production and Love and Marriage Huntsville cast, all y'all have done is prove Melody's point. All y'all have done is prove why she don't rock with the people on the cast because they don't have a mind of their own. Melody has said the problem she has is not that people talk to Martell. The problem that she has is that they hang out with Martell long enough, they start repeating the things that he's always saying. Here's proof number one. Here's proof number one. And remember, y'all, because I got to play these clips, YouTube not going to pay me. But we got to debunk lies. So here's proof number one.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta be a do girl. That's all I'm saying. So anybody that's in Nell's corner right now, they're do girls.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. That was 2 years ago. He said that to Tiffany Whitlow and Lou. He was mad because Melody didn't give him her phone number and the kids didn't go to his hurry come up book launch. The kids were with her for that weekend and she had a funeral to go to, and he just felt like she should have dropped everything and brought them to a book signing that he didn't prepare for beforehand so she could have prepared for it. And the narrative that he was pushing is Melody's the problem. She's the reason why we can't co-parent. And oh, I'm not bothering her. All I want us to do is communicate. And he let Tiffany know that anybody in Melody's corner, triangulation, that's why I put that triangle on the screen, because Dion wants to talk about triangulation, but hey, Melody's the only problem, so we're not going to point out triangulation amongst the entire cast. But that right there, when he said that to Tiffany Whitlow, that was triangulation at its finest point. So let's listen to what Nell Fletcher has to say in tonight's episode. And keep in mind this clip as you listen to what Nell Fletcher
You
had
know what
to
I'm saying?
say.
You gotta be a do girl. That's all I'm saying. So anybody that's in Nell's corner right now, they're do girls.
All right. So let's listen to Miss Nell Fletcher.
She's Nell. She don't want to be nobody tell her how they feel. She don't want to be held accountable. Nell gonna tell Mel how she feel, and she's not used to that. She's used to I don't know do girls. I'm not. I've never been do girl. I'm a leader myself. Friends tell each other the truth. Friends should be able to tell the truth.
Okay, we're gonna stop it there. What she said? What did Miss Nell Fletcher just say, y'all? She said, in case y'all couldn't hear my other phone, she said, Mel is used to, I don't know, do girls. I'm not a do girl. Nell, did you get that from Martell? Oh, if you're in Melody's corner, you're a do girl. If you're in Melody's corner, you're a do girl. I'm confused because what happened on that trip that would have Nell Fletcher wanting to hold Melody accountable for something that she didn't like on the trip? Nell Fletcher, you got one of the best rooms in the house. You didn't get a name card and you were mad about that. Kimmy had to kind of get in your peaches because you came out there trying to interject in a conversation that they were having about their rooms, a situation that was already, honestly, in that moment, it was already cleared up. They had worked it out. They weren't happy, but they had worked it out. They had come to a resolve. And you came out there hype. And Kimmy had to get in your peaches. Melody didn't step in to defend you. Okay, fine. Why does she need to defend you for? So is that why you're mad? You mad about the name card? You mad Melody didn't step in to defend you when Kimmy was about to ratatatata in your peaches? Or are you mad because Stormy had to leave because Mel was not about to stay where you stand when it came to things that people who claim to be fans of hers are doing? I'm confused. What happened on the girls' trip that would require Nell Fletcher to be so mad at Melody that she had to she needed to hold Melody accountable, and Melody was like, "Oh, I'm Melody, you can't tell me anything." Like, I don't understand. I am so confused. That's why I'm saying it seems like the producer says, "Listen, Nell, we tried to rip Melody apart this entire season and it hasn't worked. Stormy couldn't do it, Destiny couldn't do it. We couldn't do it with Trish coming on the trip and everybody exposing that Trish, used to rock with Martell or whatever the case may be. It didn't work. Nothing phased Melody. But maybe you coming at her can phase her. So what we want you to do is a random scene with Chris Fletcher sitting on some chairs in the middle of a ballroom, or I don't know, an auditorium, and then have a conversation about how Mel didn't want you to hold her accountable for something. Because that's what this scene is given, in my opinion. It looks like a setup. It does not make any kind of sense. The girls' trip is over. Did something happen between you and Melody on the girls' trip that was not shown? Because the only people Melody got into it with was Destiny, and that was short lived, and Stormy. And Melody really didn't even say much to Stormy, truth be told. Stormy was the one getting all hyped and then left. What issues did Mel and Nell Fletcher have on the trip? I'm trying to understand it. What were you not happy about? What were you not happy about, Nell? See, so many people were still trying to ride for you to say, hey, you and Mel, y'all have had a relationship that preceded this show. So maybe y'all's dynamics is just different. But this right here, this scene right here that's about to play out, and then you got some people already in the comment section under this clip saying, yes, I'm glad that somebody's finally saying it. No, Mel doesn't want to be held accountable. Problematic. You can't be her friend if you allowed yourself to be used like this, and if you are repeating things that Martell has been saying in an effort to triangulate. Now, I want it to make sense because, again, y'all know I need things to make sense. So, now Fletcher, last year you did an interview, both you and Chris Fletcher did an interview with Carlos King, right? Last year. And in the interview, you said that the relationship that y'all have with Melody and the relationship that y'all have with Melody and Martell, it's more than just a friendship. At this point, y'all are family. You consider them to be brother and sister, little brother and little sister. That's what y'all said in the interview. That y'all have spent so much time with them that at this point you call them brother and sister because that's the kind of relationship. y'all have. Y'all say that reality, y'all said in this interview with Carlos that this reality TV thing, it's not going to capture the relationship that y'all have with Melody and Martell. But let's own in on the relationship with Melody, right? Because Nell Fletcher, you said that in 2019, as Melody and Martell, they were going through some of the hardest points in their marriage, the passion that you had for them as brother and sister while your mom was dying in 2019, you were at their home and they were at your home and you were trying to mentor and counsel them. Now, my understanding of mentorship is someone, or my understanding of a mentor is someone that can hold their mentee accountable. A counselor is somebody who gives advice, and that advice is at times received. A mentor is somebody who can tell you about yourselves. A mentor is somebody that you respect so that when they tell you about yourself, you don't feel like, oh, you can't tell me anything. So make it make sense now, Fletcher. Were you actually her mentor? Did y'all actually have a big sister, little sister relationship? Because if you did, then you would have to sit with Chris Fletcher in the seat and say, oh, you know how Melody's like, oh, I'm Melody. Nobody can tell me anything. Because you would have known that the way your friendship with Melody is set up is that you can absolutely tell her how you feel. And Melody has said this on her platform, that the relationship that she felt that she had with you, and I'm putting words in Melody's mouth right now. What Melody said was that the relationship that she has with Nell Fletcher is one where Nell, they're not always going to agree. Nell Fletcher is going to say how she feels, and she's going to tell Nell how she feels, and it is what it is, and they move on. That's what Melody said on her platform about you, Nell. But now I'm going to change those words. I'm changing the words. At the time Melody said that on her Instagram live, she felt like the relationship y'all had was one in which you could absolutely come and check her if needs be. And y'all might not agree, but because y'all are big sister, little sister, you go tell her how you feel and y'all are going to move past it. Because as you said, as a friend, you should be able to tell your friend when something made you upset and it not be a problem. Why are you coming on the show, Nell Fletcher, trying to paint y'all's relationship, y'all's friendship as one in which you aren't able to tell Melody how you feel when you have done several interviews actually saying that you have been able to tell Melody how you feel about certain things, and she doesn't always agree with you and you don't always agree with her, but that's the type of relationship that y'all have where y'all can communicate effectively. Is it that y'all don't remember what y'all say? Because this is an interview that you did with Carlos King last year. But then you start filming for the show as a full-time cast member in 2024, and all of a sudden that relationship, that big sister little sister relationship that you had with Melody is thrown out of the door for a scene, for some camera time, and now you're going to have her haters believe that y'all have a friendship where you cannot hold her accountable when you know that's not the truth, when you know that you've been this young woman's mentor for years. So you're telling me that the kind of mentorship that you were doing is one where you've never had to check her for anything? The kind of mentorship that you were doing is one in which you've never had to say, Melody, I feel that you're wrong for this, and this is why? Is that what you're trying to say now? Because ever since we've met Nell Fletcher and Chris on the show, all we've heard is they used to mentor the hosts. Oh, I used to mentor Melody. Mentor, 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 mentor. Counselor, counselor, counselor. That's all we've heard. So why is it in 2024 the narrative is now I can't hold Melody accountable? Melody wants me to be a do girl. Why is that the narrative in 2024, Nell Fletcher? Why did you allow yourself to be used like that? Why not tell the producers, listen, even if I have an issue with Melody, I'm not about to sit down in a scene with Chris and talk about I can't hold Melody accountable because that's not the relationship that we have. You don't need the money like that now. You have a daycare. I work in the preschool system. So if you are the owner, I know you are making a lot of money. If it's one thing that's not going to change anytime soon, is a parent's need for quality childcare. Chris Fletcher is a realtor. And y'all have several other businesses together. So you didn't need the money to the point where for some camera time you about to do some strange things for change. But listen, a little bit of fame and a little bit of popularity will make people do some strange things. Like come on a reality TV show where they know their mentee and a woman they have counseled and a woman that they call little sister is the target of so much hate for no good reason, and then you come and you add to that pylon. In the interview, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm about to read y'all's comments in a second. In the interview that Nell Fletcher and Chris did with what's her name on YouTube, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Oh, child. They did an interview with, I think her name is Crystal or something like that. No, no Fletcher, Chris, Crystal interview. Crystal XO or something like that, I think is the name. Yes. From Crystal XO, reality check with the Fletchers. They did this interview in May 2022 of this year. And in the interview, Crystal says to Nell Fletcher, yes, you have held Melody and Martell accountable. Go and watch it, y'all. I'm not gonna play her clip. But Crystal says this to Nell Fletcher. We've seen that you've held Melody and Martell accountable. And to that statement, Nell Fletcher says, yes, I have, but both of them are stubborn. Y'all remember that? So I guess when Nell Fletcher did that interview with Crystal, she didn't remember that during the season, or maybe she did this scene with Chris Fletcher after she did this interview with Crystal. I don't know. But either way, I guess she forgot. Let's say she did the scene before she did the Crystal interview. Then when she did the Crystal interview, she forgot that in a scene she said that Mel doesn't want her to hold her accountable. Y'all forgetting y'all's talking points to be on camera now? And now when I went back to get my evidence, and I went back and I looked at your interview with Dustin, I went and I looked at your interview with Dustin Ross. I realized something that people have been saying for a while now on YouTube. And I try not to go off of what everybody else says, but I try to have my own opinions. And I realized something when I went back to look at your Dustin Ross interview, where once again you call Melody big little sister, where once again you talk about how much you mentored them, how much you counseled her. And I realized that you said something that was very telling. You said that Martell and Chris Fletcher, they knew each other first, right? That's a given. In this whole dynamic with Martell, he has met the men first, and then he tells the men, hey, y'all are married. I want y'all's wife to meet my wife. Fine. And that's what happened. And Nell Fletcher says that when Martell and Chris started hanging out, Chris would come home and tell her that, Martell and his wife, they're going through some things. And Chris Fletcher basically propositioned his wife to meet Melody so that her and Melody could have a conversation so that they could help them through some of the things that they were going through at the time. This is what Nell Fletcher admits in her Dustin Ross interview. Her and Chris were pillow talking. And that's how she ended up being counselor for the then Holds. And that was what, 2018, 2019? I'm thinking 2018 because then it would make sense, or 2017, 2018, because then it would make sense why in season one, episode one, when Melody was at that dinner table talking about respectful cheating, and Kimmy said, wait, there's a respectful way to cheat, and Melody said, well, I'm learning that there is. Now it's making sense why she was learning that. Because were you the counselor telling her that? Were you the mentor telling her that? All of a sudden, you can't hold Melody accountable, but you were her mentor. All of a sudden, you can't hold Melody account, and Melody feels like she's just so above you holding her accountable. But in 2023, you were still calling yourself her mentor. So if she feels like she's just so above listening to you, then that means you weren't her mentor. 2023, you were still calling yourself her mentor and her counselor. But all of a sudden, 2024, you are filming for this show. All of a sudden, she's so above you holding her accountable. You know that you were full of ish when you said that in that scene, Nell Fletcher. Millimeters weren't coming at you. People have said they don't feel like you're Melody's friends, but for the most part, they weren't coming at you. The Lexi interview, that wasn't done on a millimeter channel. People have their opinions of of a stepmother and how they treat their stepdaughters. That's what that was. That had nothing to do with Melody. So what are you mad about? What millimeter is messing with your daycare? What millimeter is messing with Chris Fletcher's realty company? What is it that happened on the girls' trip that had you coming back saying, I wasn't happy about things on the girls' trip, and Melody, feels like she's Melody and nobody, like, what happened? It does not make any sense. And the fact that you said, oh, I guess Melody wants do girls and I'm not a do girl, and that's something that Martell has said, it makes me understand why a lot of people over here on YouTube have been saying, Melody, you need to watch Nell Fletcher. She's not your friend. I see it now. l- Clear as day. Before I was holding out hope, like, listen, these people have been friends for so long. Nell Fletcher has mentored Melody, counseled her. They have a big sister, little sister relationship. So maybe we just don't understand their dynamics. Maybe Melody isn't taking any of this personally. Maybe they have talked things out and they're good because they have that kind of relationship. But girl, if it's so easy for you to come on a TV show and turn on your little sister, then that says a lot about your character, and it only continues to justify why every time Melody invites somebody to come on the show, she ends up having to step away from them because they do some shisty stuff like this on camera to her. Even the other day, Melody was on TikTok. She was still defending Nell Fletcher. She said, I don't feel like Nell Fletcher believes what she said. I feel like the producers, pushed her to say that. She was still defending you, only to now have to witness you in this scene say some dumb ish that you know isn't true. I've lost all respect for Nell Fletcher at this point in time. Now let me read y'all's comments because girl, I miss. Mel ain't never had a friend on the cast. So who's the do girl? They are the do girls for Martell, it seems. They're all Martell's do girls. From Destiny to Nell Fletcher to Stormy. Everybody having an agenda. Everybody having an agenda to use Melody as as the way in as the way onto the show, and then when they get settled they feel like, okay, now let's cut her throat. That's what it's seeming like. And there's nobody who talks about Martell in the way that they talk about Melody. Nobody is ever handing Martell this, oh, he doesn't hold himself accountable, and I have to talk to Martell about his behavior. Nobody's ever doing that when it comes to Martell, but somehow Melody is always the one they're attacking. And then they want to gaslight us into feeling like that's not what we're seeing. No, that's exactly what we're seeing. That's exactly what we're seeing. It's always Melody is the problem, while this man is convicted now, convicted of DV in the third degree. And we haven't heard any interview so far where anybody has said, now that he's convicted, I understand why Melody had to do what she did. I understand that it wasn't just a text. Ken, I already didn't like you, truth be told, but after that Millichan interview, I really don't like you. Because it's not just a text, it's a crime, it's illegal. And it wasn't just the text message that was a threat, it was also learning that there was a plot in place on how Martell and his mistress, now turned baby mother, now turned girlfriend, now turned I don't know what, had to release said video. They always try to remove something from that. This is accurate context after all. So accurate context is there was a threat and Melody was going to let it go. But then a few months later, she learned She learned that there was a plot in place to release her intimate video that she knows that she did with her husband at the time. So he's the only one that could be out here trying to release any tapes on her. Not only that, the mistress was heard on a recording saying to people, hey, I have the video, I can send it to you. So the way they exclude all of that from the situation and they only make it, oh, it was just a text. So we don't hear anybody doing interviews saying, I stand with any woman who makes the choice to report an ex partner threatening to release Revenge P. Because the threat in and of itself is illegal in the United States. There are many states, there are many states in the US that has laws on the books that makes it a crime to threaten to release Revenge P. That's it, point blank, period. And nobody's doing interviews from this cast saying, we now understand that the threat was a crime. We understand all the other parts of it that resulted in Melody making the decision to press charges. And now that he's convicted, we stand in support of any woman, not just Melody, but any woman who makes the choice to go and report such a threat. Everybody wants to make Melody the bad guy and then gaslight her fans and gaslight her supporters into feeling like, oh, that's not what's happening. No, that's exactly what's happening. I don't even know where I am in my comments. um, yeah, it's a group think. IPV, it's a group think that's happening. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Glam. I am still on live. Let me read these comments and then we're gonna head over to Glam. Mel ain't never had a friend on the cast, so who's the do girl? Okay, I read that. Nell Nell Fletcher was never Mel's friend, so no surprise here. Yeah, she was trying to, you know, help Martell keep Melody in the situation that she was in. Not giving in to BS has nothing to do with not taking accountability. Nell is trash just like the rest of the cast. She's letting production use her because she wants something from CK. Maybe she wants her own show. So they're like, girl, in my opinion, Nell, if you want your own show, then this is what you have to do. And she did it. Nell says she got Mel a good room, but Mel left and got a hotel. Cause Mel wasn't gonna stay in no house with Martell at the point in time when it was revealed he was out here plotting with his mistress to release Revenge P on her. And everybody in that on that Houston trip, they knew this. And Nell Fletcher still paired Martell and Melody together on that trip. Child. But who set it up for Nell to go outside? Outside where? Let me know what you're talking about. I know when I'm doing wrong. Nell is full of ish, period. Yep. You see in the clip, she says Mel ain't came by. Mel ain't your do girl no more. I am. It's crazy. The way production plays with upcoming clips, I wonder if it's going to be shown on the show or did they sucker now. She gonna have a lot of explaining to do because let me tell you, when this scene plays out tonight, the YouTube streets gonna be on her heels with the commentary. Let's be clear, people have a right to share their opinions. So yeah, it's gonna be heated in these YouTube streets and on these panels. People gonna be talking about it. This explains her saying she has not seen or bothered to call Mel after that. Okay. Also, she was on that trip with Stormy in August. Yeah, Nell Fletcher wants to be wants to be outside with Stormy and everybody else that she knows, her mentee and the woman she was counseling does not get along with. And people say, "Oh, it's high school. It's high school for you to have beef with somebody that I'm cool with and I have to drop my friendship with them." No, it's not high school. When real life stuff is happening that is causing harm to people, that's when you need to pick a side. It's no riding the fence. It's no fence humping. It's no, I'm going to keep it neutral. It's now I have to pick a side because one party is being harmed and the other party is the one that is causing the harm. I got to scroll down. Mel is aware that at this point, there is no way she can still be friends with people who are still close with Martel. She has the right to protect her peace and separate herself from all of them. And I remember in the scene last year, around the time of the Houston trip, Martell said to Nell Fletcher that Melody is happier when she's not around that group. Now, let me tell you something, a broken clock child is right twice a day. And I believe that Martell was very right in that moment. There's no way Melody can be happy when she's on this show around these people because all she gets is backstabbers, people who can't keep it 100% real on the Love and Marriage Huntsville cameras. Nobody's holding Nell accountable. In my opinion, Nell is dangerous. I'm so glad Mel is getting away from Nell Martell. Yeah, the Do Girls. Mel's made Lauren and Shanita flew first class with Mel. They got the bigger rooms and she had to settle with the ops and fly back with Kimmy and TJ. So that's what she's mad about. That's what she's mad about. I don't know. I don't know. Or was she mad because Mel called her their elder? Like I'm trying to understand. Mel fans already peeped Nell a long time ago. Nell is a despicable person. She is shady person. Said herself laughing in people's face and not. And wasn't she laughing in Melody's face on the trip? Oh, Mel, sorry, but ha 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 ha. Martell is fine. Your friend is sitting next to you upset because Stormy just threw in her face Martell's charges. Because let's be clear, that's what Stormy did. That's what Stormy did. Ooh, and guess what? I had to turn myself in for guess what? Harassing communications. That was her comparing her charges to Martell's charges, conflating the two when they're not the same. So that just happened, and your friend is sitting next to you upset, and some chick that she just met, it's being exposed that this chick was in her marital home because we don't know the timeline. So maybe Melody was probably still in that house. Maybe there was an argument and she left for a few days and Martell called this chick over. We don't know. So that happened with Stormy, and then now this is being exposed, and you see that your friend is upset, and you're gonna talk about Mel. I don't mean no disrespect, ha 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 ha. But Martell is fine as hell, lady. What? Chris recruited her. He did, and she admitted that in an interview that they basically recruited her to come talk to Melody while Melody was dealing with infidelity, and Nell Fletcher even said in one of the interviews that you know the relationship that she had with Melody was one where, Melody said to her that Miss Nell, not because you stayed, I'm gonna stay. So that tells me that they've had a kind of relationship where they've been able to communicate with each other on a different level. But the way Nell Fletcher is positioning it in this scene, it's like that relationship never existed. That's sad. Ah, child. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, D. Hereford. But the point is, though, she continues to say she was Melody's mentor. This is not mentorship. So I guess at this point in time, Nell Fletcher can stop saying that she is Melody's mentor because this is not mentorship. All right, y'all. I'm going to end this live. Maybe we could come back later after the Oh, I've talked about it. I've talked about it. Several content creators have talked about the receipts that Miss BT dropped. You probably just have to like, type in the search because the Love and Marriage Huntsville sector is one where things happen so much that other things might be drowned out. But we've been talking about it, Miss D. We've been talking about it. All right, y'all. Let's head over to Glamrox's channel. That's where I'm going to be right now for subscriber feud. I am 33 minutes late, but we still gonna be over there and we go cut up. And maybe later, we can come back and discuss some other things further. Remember, y'all, that YouTube doesn't really like it when we play the own clips, and I had to play own clips to prove my points. So if you want to support the channel, feel free to do so. I would appreciate it. My Cash App is $ the letter Y see it. So $ how Y see it. All right. So thank y'all for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see y'all over there on Glamrox's channel. So walk good over there. See you in a few. Bye.